that keeps the angle of the line high. It makes that bait ride a little higher so one grabs it like that.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Talk about how you're supposed to hook them. That's how you're supposed to hook them. Alright guys, we're here at Lake Lawton, right here in Palm Bay. What I want to do today is I want to break down Jordan Lee's winning technique from the first stage of the Bass Pro Tour and Major League Fishing. He caught most of them on a vibrating jig. So I'm going to take you out today and really break down the vibrating jig, the setup I use, and show you a couple of fish caught on it. So come along, let's have a good time and let's smash some in the face on a vibrating jig. Hydrilla, little guy. You can see what we got here is real similar to what Jordan was fishing. You know, this is all out in this open water. This is all hydrilla. And you know, in this chatterbait Freedom, I mean, it's a really good way to be able to cover a lot of that stuff and then find, you know, that little sweet spot like Jordan found on the final day, you know, on Championship Sunday and won. But yeah, this is it's the way that you can cover them. And a lot of times when you find them on the chatterbait Freedom, you know, sometimes you can slow down and then worm them or something like that. But when you just have these massive expanses of hydrilla like this, it's just a great bait to just cover water till you can find that little sweet spot. The chatterbait strikes again. Chomped on that thing. There, he got it that time. Ah, he came off. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is the time when you pull down. These fish are just a little bit unaggressive right now. But you can see right there, I had like 5 or 6 or 7 bites in that little bit of hydrilla right there. And that's exactly what Jordan was doing. He was fishing around just like we've been doing, and then all of a sudden he got on that one spot and just started putting all those big scoreable bass on the score tracker. And you can see right here, I missed quite a few of them, but you know, I think that if we had a little bit of wind, this chatterbait would they'd be eating it a little bit better. But it just goes to show you that we use this bait to find that little spot where there's a bunch of fish right there. That's the deal. Awesome search bait and a great way to catch them too. You can see me holding my rod tip really high like this. That hydrilla right out there is really shallow, and then it starts coming like right here. I'll start putting my rod down, and what I'm doing is it's starting to come out in this little bit deeper hydrilla out here by the boat now. So you can kind of guide that bait and keep it kind of in the depth you want by the rod, and that's another one of the reasons why I like to use the 7.4 Halo cranking rod for this deal, is I got a lot of leverage where, you know, when I throw way up there on that shallow stuff, I can keep my rod tip kind of high like this, and that keeps the angle of the line high, and it makes that bait ride a little higher so one grabs it like that. Now that one was shallow right up on top of that stuff. He's just a little guy, but he's fun. Just a little guy, but see, that goes to show you by holding that rod tip really high, I was able to fish that chatterbait on top of that stuff that typically would be too shallow. You know, you wouldn't have enough room over top of the grass, but that long rod allows you to keep that rod tip up, keeps your line up, keeps the bait up, allows you to catch some of those fish that typically you wouldn't be able to fish with chatterbait.
There's one right there. Pike. Pickerel. Chain pickerel. Lots and lots of good hydrilla right here. When I say good hydrilla, it's better when there's a lot of, like, I don't know if you can see it through the camera or not, but there's, I just missed one right there. There's a lot of open holes and caverns, and you know, it's not just like a solid carpet of hydrilla under there. You know, there's a lot of different little holes and, you know, openings and stuff. And what they do is they like that, you know, because they can kind of sneak into those little areas and ambush bait, you know, whatever they're feeding on, whether it's, you know, probably shiners and bluegill like it is, you know, down here in Florida, or if it's, you know, shad up north. It's definitely better when the grass bed's broken up. There he is, biggin', dude, biggin'. I mean, a biggin'. Look at that donkey. That swamp beast. Yes! Look at that beast. Holy crap. Look at that. Look at that beast. Oh, what an awesome Palm Bay fish. Let's let the big old dog go. Let the big old dog go. Yeah, boy. Man, you want to talk about fun. That big old dog, I mean, slacklined that chatterbait. God, I love that bite when you're just winding that thing along and you just lose it. You just don't have anything anymore. Just the line's completely slack. You got to wind up real fast to catch up to him and drive that hook home. Oh, that's so fun. That's one of the funnest bites on that chatterbait, man. I still get tore up about it. I've been doing it forever and still love it. Catch a 4 or 5 pounder on that. Man, that's fun. But you know, like that one, like you guys saw, you know, that was just a steady retrieve, you know, and he just came up and shellacked it. You know, it wasn't like, you know, I was doing a lot of dumping and pumping and stuff like I typically do, but it was just kind of a straight stretch, you know, in the hydrilla right there. And I was just kind of bringing it along. About, honestly, I kind of really wasn't even paying that much attention, to be honest with you. But that, I mean, that was just exactly how they're supposed to eat it, man, when they just slackline you. God, that's a lot of fun. Covered all this water, all this is hydrilla, all out here in this big open pool. It's all hydrilla. And there's that one spot right out in there. That's just where all the fish are. Why? Dunno. But I know that the old chatterbait Freedom can cover all this stuff like we've been doing. You know, I've been out here milling around for a couple of hours and I finally got zoned in on that spot. And that's what this thing allows you to do. You can cover all that water and you get zoned in on that one spot. And if they keep biting this, I'm gonna keep throwing this. But if they stop biting, I might pick up a, you know, whatever, a T-Mac worm or a salt lick or something, start firing it in there with a real little lightweight on it. But for right now, I'm gonna keep throwing this. Hey guys, I want to show you the setup that we used today. You know, you saw how we caught a lot of bass on that chatterbait Freedom today, and I was explaining to you how Jordan Lee used that same technique to win stage 1 of Major League Fishing's Bass Pro Tour. So I'm going to walk you through the whole setup, what I've found that works the best for me, and I'm sure it probably will for you too. The first thing that I'm going to tell you about is the rod. I use a Halo 7'4" medium heavy cranking rod. I know that sounds a little weird for throwing a bladed jig, but this is what I've found really works well for me and really keeps me from losing so many fish that a lot of people have a problem with on a bladed jig. So it's 7'4" Halo medium heavy cranking rod. I use a Ardent 6.5-to-1 reel. I like the 6.5-to-1 over a 7 or an 8-to-1 because you can't overwind the bait. You can't wind the bait too much. I find myself with a real high-speed reel, I'm reeling the bait too fast. So that's a big deal too. For line, I use 30 pound Sunline SX1 30-pound braid, and then what I do is I don't wind that straight to the bait. What I'll do is I tie an FG knot. As you can see, I'm getting a little fuzz on it right there because we were using it all day. I tie an FG knot, and then I will go to 20-pound fluorocarbon down by the bait. So I'll use the Sunline FC Sniper 20-pound. So I got 30-pound braid to 20-pound leader, 7/4 Halo cranking rod, 6.5-1 ardent reel. That's the setup that I've found works absolutely the best for me. You know, a lot of people have a problem with losing fish on vibrating jigs. This one for me just is absolutely the best. I don't want to throw a vibrating jig on anything else but this. I like the cranking rod because it has a parabolic bend, and it really allows when the fish comes up and takes the bait, it really allows the fish to get the bait good before you actually, you know, reel into him and get into him. But what it is with the braided line on the cranking rod, the braided line doesn't have any stretch in it. And a lot of times we're fishing these vibrating jigs in grass. So, and that's kind of like we talked about earlier in the video, was letting the bait get down in the grass and kind of snapping it out of the grass, and that's when the fish were biting it. Well, what this braided line does is actually allows you to not have to really overwork yourself to snap the grass off the bait. When the bait does get down in the grass, you can just do short little twitches, just like we showed you earlier on the video, clear that bait, and a lot of times that's when that fish is going to strike. So that's the setup right here. Perfect. Now let me show you the vibrating jig that we caught all those fish on today. All right guys, so here's the bait, and you know me, I can't let anything well enough alone, so I have a couple of little adjustments I do with it, but I start out with the chatterbait Freedom. So we take him out of the pack. We're down in Florida, and I really like black and blues down here, but I really like June bugs and green pumpkins too. So typically what I do with this is a black and blue 1/2 ounce chatterbait Freedom. The first thing is I'll slide this skirt down a little bit, just like this. Now this hook that comes with it, I use this one if I'm fishing around a lot of wood, but if I'm not fishing around a lot of wood, I'm really not a big fan of that hook. So, but when I am fishing around wood, it's great because it keeps you from getting hung up. But the cool thing about the chatterbait Freedom, we just go like that, and the hook comes off. It's beautiful, perfect. So, I'll take a Trocar, big nasty flipping hook, and I will thread, and make sure you do this right, because you don't want the hook to end up like that. So I will thread a Trocar big nasty right up on this guy, right where I just took the hook that comes with it. And don't get me wrong, that hook that comes with them is good. I just like this one better. So now I've got the chatterbait Freedom with a flipping hook on it. And then I'm going to take, this is the exact skirt I caught him on today. I took it off the other one just because I wanted to demonstrate to you guys exactly what's going on. That's the black and blue, green pumpkin, and June bug skirt. It's very, very pretty. Thread this up on the hook, just like we took the black one off of the other one. Slide that guy on up there. Now we did have a black head on the one we were fishing with today, but like I said, I'm just completely redoing a new one just to show you guys exactly what we're doing. So you can see how this is the beauty of the Freedom. See how that moves around like that? When that fish gets a hold of that, he doesn't have nearly as much leverage when he comes up and jumps. So with that hook swinging like that, it really allows you to land a lot more of the fish. But also, when we put a trailer on this, it's going to give the trailer a lot more action too. And it almost gives it, instead of just the wobbling of the blade in the front, it almost gives it a rolling action, kind of like this too. It's freaking awesome, in my opinion. And obviously, you saw we caught a bunch of fish on it today. This is exactly the same pack that I was taking them out of today. This is a Netbait Spanky. This one's in Copperfield. All we're gonna do is take this guy, that keeper on that trocar hook is gonna hold that thing up on there. So what you wanna do is kind of lay it up there and see where you want that hook to come out of. So if I see it on the bait where I want the hook to come out of, I'm gonna thread it up on there. Bring the hook out right there. You always wanna make sure you bring it out right in the center so it's nice and straight. Thread it up on there just like that. And there you have it. The exact setup that we use today. See how it's the Freedom one swings? Love that dude. There it is. So that is the breakdown of how Jordan Lee won the stage 1 of the Major League Fishing's Bass Pro Tour, and how you watched me today catch a whole bunch of fish on the same technique. So I hope now when you hear somebody talking about throwing a vibrating jig, that you can really understand everything about it now, you know. So I mean, we didn't really throw it in any wood today. We were definitely just throwing it in grass. But I mean, that's breaking it down about as good as I can for you guys. So that's my setup. Kind of showed you how Jordan won the tournament. Thanks for watching the video. Please make sure you smash that subscribe button and come back and always watch. We're going to have lots of content coming out. So thank you everybody for stopping by. Talk about how you're supposed to hook them. That's how you're supposed to hook them.